Happy New Year's to all my Central unit. It's the Central Man here, so back again with another classic WWE pay-per-view review. So this time going to review WWE New Year's Resolution 2007 at the Kemper Arena, right now it's called the KV Arena in Kansas, Missouri, on the 7th of January 2007. The attendance for the show was 10,000 and the buy rate for the show was 220,000 pay-per-view buys, a downgrade than the 2006 show. I covered it, last time in this segment. I'm going to address the buy rate for New Year's Resolution of 2006. When I reviewed that show, I said that show received 300,000 pay-per-view buys. Unfortunately, that's not true. I checked it on Wikipedia because New Year's Resolution 2006 got about 294,000 pay-per-view buys. Because the main event of that show was the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship, and also, John Cena versus Edge, when Edge won his first World Heavyweight Championship in his career. Anyway, so the 2007 New Year's Resolution show, there is no Elimination Chamber match on the show. I think they scrapped it after ECW's December to December 2006. Yeah, they brought it back a year later at No Way Out 2008. Anyway, so this is the final New Year's Resolution show in WWE history. They never brought it back ever since. And also, this is the final Raw branded pay-per-view for 9 years. They brought it back in the second brand split. Anyway, Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler on commentary. The first match to kick off the show, we got Jeff Hardy defended the Intercontinental Championship against Johnny Nitro. They've been feuding in the second half of 2006. Jeff Hardy returned in the summer of 2006 after spending years in TNA. He's feuding with Johnny Nitro. Hardy defeat Nitro for the IC title. I think it was on the September's episode of Raw. And then a month later, Nitro really regained the title back from Hardy. And then Hardy won the title back, defeating Nitro again. And the rivalry still continued going into 2007. They had the tag team match at December to Dismember in the opener. The reunited MMN taking on the reunited Hardy Boys. That was a good match, but the pay-per-view of ECW's December to Dismember, that was a clusterfuck. And then a couple weeks later at Armageddon, in the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team ladder match, Jeff Hardy did like a leg drop onto the ladder, accidentally breaking the face of Joey Mercury. So that is the storyline. Johnny Nitro want revenge on Jeff Hardy for what he did to Joey Mercury. Anyway, a good opener. Sometimes I like steel cage matches. I don't like in today's WWE. They turn out to be boring. No blood. Not boring, but hit or miss. I'm trying to say. Anyway, they took some crazy bumps. One more of the match. Jeff Hardy did like a trio blow onto Nitro onto the top of the cage. It was starting to be good. Melina doing the screaming gimmick at the time. It's debatable if Melina's screaming gimmick is annoying or good. It's a bit of both, but she kind of got it over with doing that. In the end, Jeff was trying to get out the cage door. Nitro trying to climb out of the cage. I think Melina's trying to block the cage door, but the referee stopped her. And Nitro attempted to do that. Jeff Hardy basically drop kicked the door open, and basically Nitro kind of landed crutch first onto the top of the cage door. Jeff Hardy dived out of the cage door to win this match and retain the Intercontinental Championship. And the funny thing, there was a backstage segment later on the show. Nitro was holding the ice pack around his groin area. And, I kind of find it funny. The rivalry still continued at the Royal Rumble. They had the rematch from December to Dismember, Hardys versus MMN. And then you had the blow-off to the rivalry in a 6-man tag team match at No Way Out, the Hardys and Benoit versus MVP and MMN. And then afterwards, MMN was no more. It was disbanded, Mercury got released. He came back, part of CM Punk's Straight Society in 2010, and part of, become a producer, and also part of J&J Security of the authority in 2014-2015 period of WWE. The next match, we got a tag team turnover match. Winner gets a shot at the World Tag Team Championships. We've got the World's Greatest Tag Team, that is Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas. The Highlanders, that is Robbie and Rory, Murdoch Kincaid, and Duggan and Super Crazy, and then Crime Time. The Highlanders, man. Oh boy, that was, basically, both from Scotland. I think they're from America. Those are that tag team. Here's the funny story. They never last long in WWE. I think they got released in 2008. So here's this funny story. I think it was Robbie or Rory. I think it was Robbie. Robbie in 2008 in March. When really appeared in the TV taping of TNA Impact. Due to lawsuits, they changed his name to his real name. That is Derek. It was called Derek Graham Gooch. So, yeah, that's due to lawsuits because at the time I think WWE was still feuding with TNA. And then WWE cancelled I call Robbie's $500,000 WrestleMania dollar contract. And I think he said in an interview that he was unhappy with this gimmick in this tag team. Yeah, they got released in 2008, 1 year later. So that's a side note. Anyway, so World's Greatest Tag Team was reunited after a few years because they got broke up due to the draft in 2004. I think Haas didn't do much on SmackDown. Got released a year later. Came back in 2006. So yeah, the reunited both Haas and Benjamin. They're I don't think I could see them being in the Hall of Fame one day. Haas and Benjamin. They were, in my opinion, one of the most underrated tag teams in pro wrestling history. The world's greatest tag team. Anyway, Highlanders and world's greatest tag team started off. Yeah, the world's greatest tag team eliminate both the Highlanders and Duggan and Super Crazy. Head Cheese booking, man. Head Cheese. Al Snow teaming up with Steve Blackman. It was basically doing these weird, random tag team partnership. Anyway, World's Greatest Tag Team eliminated them. Then the third tag team was the World's Greatest Tag Team. They got eliminated by Cade and Murdoch. Cade and Murdoch, they're okay. They had a great run as a tag team. Become multiple time tag team champions. They eliminated the World's Greatest Tag Team. You had Haas locked Murdoch with a leg, I think it was a knee bar, and then Lance Cade did like a diving elbow onto Haas. Murdoch pins Haas to eliminate the World's Greatest Tag Team, and then the final two were Cade and Murdoch versus Crime Time. Crime Time got the victory, and they got a shot at the World Tag Team Championships. It's a shame they never won the tag team titles. Crime Time. It's a shame that Shad is no longer with us. He died last spring. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think they got a shot at the tag team championships because due to the World Tag Team title match, they changed plans. I'll talk about that World Tag Team title match later on in this review. It was okay. Actually, it was a slightly decent match, but I think the fans do not give a shit. World's Greatest Tag Team and Crime Time and kind of Cade and Murdoch. Besides that, the Highlanders and Duggan and Super Crazy, they're not really credible threats of the tag team championships scene. I think Highlanders did challenge for the tag team titles in 2007 and then going in 2008 before they got released. That's just my opinion. But besides that, they got into it, but not too much. Tag team turmoils, there could be a hit or miss. This is slightly a hit. It was slightly decent of a match. Anyway, the next match we got Mickie James defended the Women's Championship against Victoria. So the storyline going into this, Victoria did this list of women that she defeated. She defeated Candice Michelle and not Tori Wilson. I think it was Maria, then Mickie James. I think it was Tori Wilson. To get a shot at the Women's Championship, and also she knocked off the Women's Champion Mickie James to get a shot at the women's title on this show. It was a decent match, both good workers, both Mickie James and Victoria. They ended up feuding in TNA years later. Anyway, so it was a decent match. I think like there was a backstage segment with Victoria asked Marina for her, not Melina. So I always call her Maria, but Melina. Sorry. Victoria asked Melina for her help. You know, if you help me, I'll give you a shot at the women's championship. So she did show up minutes later when Mickie pins Victoria. Melina pulled Victoria out of the ring, and then you got Candice, Michelle, and Maria came down, beat down Melina. Sorry. They both got their names started with the letter M. And anyway, because I think it was, because Victoria was going for like the widow's peak, and then and all of a sudden you got Candice and Maria coming down the ringside, beat down Melina. In the end, Mickie hit like a swinging DDT, her finisher, to win this match and retain the women's championship. I'm guessing Melina went on to defeat Mickie James for the title. That's another topic for another time. So it was a decent match. Anyway, the next match we got Ric Flair versus Kenny Dijkstra. This is a funny rivalry. So after the Spirit Squad got canned in late 2006, I think it was in October of 2006, Kenny Dijkstra was in limbo. You know, he's feuding with Ric Flair. I think he had like 2 wins over the Nature Boy. I'll explain about Kenny Dijkstra a little bit shortly. So, anyway, so the match was, it was not a good match. Actually, it was okay, but it was a dull match. I'm sorry, it was dull. Like, Dijkstra was okay, but, you know, it was okay, but it's just a dull, mediocre match. In the end, Dijkstra low blow Ric Flair and rolled him up for a small package to score the victory. It didn't do nothing for Kenny Dijkstra, you know, it didn't elevate his stock. It's similar to when Hulk Hogan put over Billy Kidman in WCW. What it did do nothing for Billy Kidman. It's the same with Kenny Dijkstra. What's he done? Nothing. I find he's just mediocre and bland. You know, I think he gets some heat, but you got better wrestlers can do better heat for him. You know, better than him. He stuck around until 2008. He got released. He came back in 2016 in the second brand split in the feud between The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler, because Kenny was Dolph. You know, at the time Dolph was Nikki of the Spirit Squad. Anyway, it's a shame he never, he was young at the time. He was 19 at the time. It's a shame he never done anything more. You know, I don't think it was necessary released him. I wish he'd just take him back, you know, send him down back to developmental territory, you know, develop his character, develop in the ring more, and then when the time is right, call him back on TV. He might do well. But instead, they just released him. He had a run in Dragon Gate, Evolve, and then the Indies, and also he had a run with Major League Wrestling in 2019. Anyway, so moving on to the next match. Next match is basically match of the night. We got Rated RKO, the World's Tag Team Champions, defended the belt against D-Generation X, that is Triple H and Shawn Michaels. So, after the feud between the whole bulk of 2006, going the summer and the spring of 2006, basically, you know, DX reunited in the summer. They continued the feud with the McMahons, that is Vince and Shane. They had the blow-off at the Hell in a Cell match at Unforgiven of that year. After they ended the feud with the McMahons, they feuded with Rated RKO because basically they cost Edge the WWE Championship match against John Cena in a steel cage. I think it was in October's episode of Raw. So yeah, Rated RKO basically want revenge. Basically because they're both revenge on Triple H, because you know it's the first time I think it was the first time in like a year since Randy Orton feuded with Triple H, because since, you know, Days of Evolution. So they had a match at Cyber Sunday. They had a Survivor Series match at Survivor Series. So this is the third match in this rivalry. They had a match, a 6-man tag team match on Raw. You know, you had, before that you had basically Rated RKO, another underrated tag team in my opinion. They brutalized Ric Flair, you know, hitting him with a Katenjo shot in the back of the head, and then on the 18th of Raw's edition of Raw, they had a 6-man tag team match: John Cena and DX versus Umaga and Rated RKO. So, and also, yeah, DX brutalized Triple H and Shawn Michaels, hitting them with chairs, blooding them up, and hit them with the Katencho. Yeah, that was fun. That was sick. And set up this match on the show. It's a shame we're not gonna see bloodthirsty tag teams in today's WWE because it's PG. The two bloodthirsty tag teams in WWE history for me, it has to be Rated RKO and Austin Triple H, the 2-man power trip. I think the stuff what they're doing in '06 and '07 was cool. And also being down Matt Hardy as well. Anyway, so this match is memorable for Triple H injuring his quad. Basically, he did like a spine buster onto Randy Orton. He torn his quad. And also, like, before that, in some bulks of the match, basically Randy Orton and Triple H, Randy Orton and Edge, sorry. The small bulks of the match, basically, they were working on Triple H's knee. That could be the reason why he torn his quad on the show. And also, I'll give a shout to Sanders Robin 24. He said about like when Triple H came back from the first quad tear in 2002, he packed on a load of muscle. Anyway, I'll talk about Triple H's a little bit shortly. The match was good. It was bloody. Like one more of the match, Orton hit Shawn Michaels in the head with one of the World Tag Team title belts. The match ended in a disqualification. Basically, Shawn Michaels, had enough, throw the referee out of the ring, and hit both Edge and Randy Orton in the head with the chair. It's very funny that a couple of years later, I think it's very funny that when at WrestleMania 2011, Triple H got fined for hitting The Undertaker in the head with the chair. Yeah, I think it was in the start of the 2010s. I think it was 2011. WWE banned chair shot to the head. Anyway, and really funny, Orton was busted wide open, and Edge was busted wide open in the forehead. Orton was bleeding fucking buckets. Shawn Michaels was bleeding like a stuffed pig. In the end, Triple H, for the whole box of the match, he continued while suffering a quad injury. I give Triple H some props and credit. He's a badass. He torn his quad for the first time in a tag team match between him and Austin, taking on Benoit and Jericho. I'll give Triple H some props. In the end, Shawn Michaels, I think he sent Orton through a table with the diving elbow. Triple H pedigree Edge through the second announce table, and that was it. Sadly, Triple H, suffered a quad tear for the second time. He came back in the summer of 2007. He came back at SummerSlam in the match with Booker T. I think the original plans, and also Rated RKO went on to drop the tag team titles to John Cena and Shawn Michaels. I think the original plans, they were going for DX defeating Rated RKO for the tag team titles. Unfortunately, because Triple H got injured and they changed plans, so it's a shame. They went on to win the tag team titles 2 years later at TLC against Jericho in the TLC match, but because this 2007 was 10 years since the formation of D-Generation X. Yeah, it'll be in October, but I wish they just won the tag team titles on the show. If they won the tag team titles on the show, it'll be a night one night, good feeling, and then Triple H will vacate the belt the next night on Raw to get surgery, and then unfortunately I think the plans had Triple H be back in the world title picture again at WrestleMania 23. Don't want to do that. I don't want to see that. Enough's enough. He ended up in the world title picture again in WrestleMania 24. Another topic for another time. So it's a shame Triple H got hurt. I give Triple H some props to make it good. To continue the match while injured. The match was good. Match of the night for me. I saw some portion of the match. It was getting a little boring. Like bulk of the match, you basically like Triple H and Randy Orton beating down Shawn Michaels while he's still bloodied. But it was bloodthirsty. It was good. It was drama. It was fun. So we're moving on to the next match. I'm gonna keep it short and simple. The next match we've got Carlito versus Chris Masters. So a year ago they were a tag team. Like I said, this is Head Cheese booking. And then they broke up. on the go home show to Raw, basically had Masters locked Tori Wilson at the time. She was in a storyline relationship with Carlito. Masters locked Tori Wilson in the Master Lock, and that is the story. That's the story. Anyway, the match sucked. A piss break match. No chemistry. In the end, Masters rolled up Carlito for the victory, and afterwards he locked Carlito with the Master Lock. And I think it was going for Tori Wilson again with the Master Lock, but unfortunately he kind of walked out, and that was it. Yeah, no chemistry. It's just a piss break. I wish they scrapped this match off the card. Yeah, this is the problem with these brand only pay-per-views. In the first, not just in the first brand split, but in the second brand split, it came off. Some of these matches that came off a match you probably see on Raw, SmackDown, Heat, Velocity. Carlito was good. He's a good worker. Masters, not so much. I think the one thing can stand out for him, he's just the Master Lock. It's one of the best moves in pro wrestling history, but he's just not that good. He's okay. He's got a good physique, but I don't see him being a world champion. I think he's absolute suck in the ring. Moving on to the main event, we got John Cena defended the WWE Championship against the Samoan Bulldozer Umaga. So Umaga is Eddie Fatu. This is his second run with the company. His first run was in 2001, 2002, part of a tag team known as 3 Minute Warning with Roman Reigns' late brother Rosie. He got released in 2003 due to he was involved in a bar fight. He had a run in TNA and the Indies before he re-signed to the WWE in late 2005. He re-debuted in April of 2006 as Umaga with Armando Alejandro Estrada as his manager. Give him an undefeated streak. He's never been pinned and he's never been submitted. So the feud between him and Cena started in, I think it was November of that year in 2006. They had a handicap match. You had Kevin Federline pinning John Cena in a no DQ match. They had a handicap match. Cena faces Umaga, Nitro, and the Coach. They had I think a one-on-one match and then a no DQ. No contest. So they've been feuding throughout the whole lateral stages in the second half of 2006. After Cena's feud with Edge come to an end, he had a filler feud with Booker T, leading up to this match on the show. It was a good match, not a great one. They had a better match at the Royal Rumble in the Last Man Standing match a couple weeks later. I hate they did it over the years. I like some good John Cena matches, but sometimes they book Cena like Superman. Have the heels bring down Cena in the whole bulk of the match, and then Cena in the loud stages, guys come back and win. Hate that. Great example. His match with the Miz at Over the Limit in 2011. Miz beating down Cena, the whole bulk of the match. Cena guys come back and win. Hate that. It's not believable. Some moments of the match, Cena is going for, the FU, but instead Umaga stopped it because due to his size, because Umaga is 300 pounds, Cena is, is a bodybuilder, but yeah, they've made Umaga in this match like a badass, but, like I said, I hate this Superman booking for Super Cena. He wasn't called Super Cena at the time, probably in the first quarter of in the 2010s, I don't want to get into it. Anyway, Cena managed to hit the 5-knuckle shuffle. In the end, he rolled up Umaga for the victory. He retains the title, and Umaga's undefeated streak has came to an end. Wow, man. I think it's debatable if Cena is the right person to end Umaga's streak. He was on a winning roll for the whole, since he re-debuted in the company in April of 2006. And it doesn't mean Umaga is dead. They completely proper buried him. No, they gave him a mini push. He defeated Jeff Hardy for the Intercontinental Championship. He was in the really a high profile match of WrestleMania 23. Representing Vince McMahon. Vince facing Donald Trump. Battle of the Billionaires. I covered WrestleMania 23 in the spring. Go and check it out. He fought Bobby Lashley. Yeah, it don't mean he helped, Vince McMahon winning the ECW title at Backlash. He wasn't dead, after the first quarter of 2007. What Umaga did? Nothing. He ended up, the turning babyface, that didn't work out. I think the original plans, he was supposed to face the cast of Jackass at SummerSlam, but unfortunately they backed down due to, WWE has getting some bad news, bad publicity over the Chris Benoit double murder suicide later that year in the summer. So after that, Umaga didn't do nothing, and I don't want to get into it. It's just what might have been for Umaga. I think he could be a world champion. I think he's got the size. He's built like a badass. A monster, and Cena beat him. It's just like, there's better people to beat Umaga. You could have Batista defeating Umaga, Jeff Hardy, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, or a young rising star, or even Bobby Lashley. Besides that, I'll be okay. Bobby Lashley defeated the undefeated streak of Umaga at WrestleMania. I'll be fine. But it's just like, what the hell's going on? It's just like Umaga after he ended up having a great last man standing match at the Royal Rumble in 2007. Cena's blooded up. And after that, besides that, he didn't do nothing after the first quarter of 2007. After, alliance with Vince McMahon. Nothing. I don't want to get into it. Don't want to go into rants, but, yeah, it's just like, yeah, the main event ended in a poor, really weak finish. Cena rolled it up. He didn't I'm not saying Umaga getting tap out. I don't mind pin. If they just did if they did a double count out, that'd be good. You could set up, protect both of them and set up probably the last man standing match of the Rumble. But having Umaga getting pinned, come on now. So, and this is the type of shit that Cena booking, the Super Cena booking. This is the reason why Cena gets hated by fans over the years. I think Umaga's got to be one of the top 3 guys Cena buried. I think the top 3, has to be the Nexus, Ryback, probably Rusev, and even Bray Wyatt. So anyway, I'm gonna end this review. So my final rating for the final New Year's resolution show of 2007, I'm gonna give it 8.5 out of 10. This is the best out of the 3. The opener, main event was kind of good. The women's title match and the tag team title match, they were good. 4 good matches. The 2 bad matches on the show has to be Dystra versus Kenny Dystra and Ric Flair was okay, but it was mediocre. It was dull, and Chris Masters, Carlito. That was just a piss breaking match. The match in the night has to be the tag team title match between Rated RKO versus D-Generation X. The tag team turmoil match I forgot to mention, but I put it good. 5. You fuck it. Let's give it an 8, a solid 8 out of 10. The tag team turmoil match was slightly decent. So, anyway, so I'm glad I reviewed these New Year's resolution shows. 2005 until 2007. It's a shame they never break back. They never turn out to be good. I think they've been doing it over the years. WWE doing 2 pay-per-views in 1 month. Because it never turned out to be good. Is not enough time to build these matches going to the next pay-per-view. I'm glad they prefer doing just 1 pay-per-view in 1 month. So I'm glad to review these shows. 2007 is the best one. The middle, I placed 2006 in the middle. 2005's got to be the worst one out of the 3. So anyway, hope you enjoyed my review of WWE New Year's Resolution 2007. Leave your thoughts on the comment section below. Smash the like button and subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. Next time, we're in the Royal Rumble season. I'm going to review some classic Royal Rumble shows. So, next week, I'm going to review the 31st Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble 1988. So, hope you enjoy your rest of the New Year's. And this is the Central Man officially signing out. I wish all my Central unit, from the beginning, a Happy New Year. Check you later. New Year's Resolution 2007. It's a thumbs up show for me.